welcome back. Today I kind of want to respond to a Matt's video about YouTube hustle culture. And if you don't know what it is, I'm not gonna broadly explain how he explains it. So if you are curious, I will link down the video down in the description below. And you can see it for yourself with his commentary video, which is very nice. And it's something I always thought of as well. And also broadly the Amnesia community, because like he said, it's like a 12-year-old game. And yet, interestingly enough, the 12-year-old game is still the best doing game on my channel, always. The statistics don't lie. If I play an Amnesia video, it gets much better views and longer views than, for example, what I'm doing now with Fatal Frame or with Phasmophobia. But here's the thing, I don't care. Because, like Matt said as well, I started this video just out of this channel. I started out of a hobby. My passion for Amnesia. I have, the interesting thing is I have a love-hate relationship with horror games in general. Oh yeah, I don't have my lantern yet, but because back in the 2010s, before Amnesia, I tried to play a horror game and it was boring as fuck, those Dead Space kind of things and all that stuff. But lately, there were very interesting additions to the horror genre. Like, I don't usually play horror in my free time, I just do it for the videos. Because honestly, I don't find any incentive to play horror games just by myself. I don't know. It just has become this kind of thing that if I want to play a horror game, I want to do it as my hobby for my YouTube channel. Not by myself, because I usually have better games to play because I don't have much time. As you well may have known, my uploading schedule is only in the weekends because I only have time to do such stuff in the weekend. Because I still see this as a hobby. It's never gonna be my main job, main source of income. I never will be. So I am, well, personally, I will not be incentivized. I would never go and try the YouTube hustle culture because it just doesn't appeal to me. And yeah, so let me check. So yeah, that was always my goal for my channel, just for me to play what I like to play in horror and then put it on YouTube, and that's it. I don't even go into the bandwagon of, everyone else does it except for me, is, put at the end at least like some sort of outro with, please like and subscribe. Or they say in the beginning, please like and subscribe this video if you like it. If you don't agree, doesn't matter, dislike it, I never do that, and I never feel good to do that, because I just don't have a necessity to beg for it, because I just feel like it's begging for likes and subscribers, and that's just not me, and that's not my goal of my channel. My goal of my channel is just basically for myself to play once in a while a horror game that I enjoy and put it on YouTube. And the stats don't lie, because like I said, my Amnesia video I always do the best. But since I played Amnesia so much, and Blizzard Plane also has this problem, he played Amnesia so much, that there are no new custom stories anymore to play. And I don't want to become like a channel where I just have to always rerun the old custom stories that I already played because there's nothing else to do. It's just boring, I've played those custom stories, it was nice, but I don't want to do continuous reruns of custom stories just because there's nothing else. There are other things than Amnesia, but people want me to play Amnesia. I sometimes have that in the comments as well. You rather play this, rather play that, but I don't care, because I just want to play what I want to play. I want to upload what when as well, because sometimes I just don't feel like it, and then I don't do it. I get such comments regarding like, oh yeah, you should play this, or you rather play that, oh, this video doesn't do good, but if you play this instead, your videos will do good, better. Well, grant, but I really don't care. And apparently this is a very well. It's a more prevalent thought in the amnesia community than in other communities because other people do feel pushed to chase trends, to put out things that people actually want to watch because they start to want to get something out of YouTube, money out of YouTube. But if you're small, it's very hard. It's very hard. And what I said, just you should regard it as a hobby than a job because it becomes toxic real quick and you need to stay on top of everything and it becomes time consuming and you start to hate it. Or at least that's what I imagine. And I would hate it too if I had to do it all the time like that. But it seems that this mentality is quite rare in the broader sense. But I did have a feeling in the amnesia community, this is shared among maths, among business playing. We all just do what we want to play. If it's amnesia, then so be it. Then I play amnesia. Of course, I will play a new Amnesia custom story when it comes out. It's still exciting for me, but I'm not gonna do reruns of old Amnesia things just because I don't have anything else to play. I have other things to play. I used to not have other things to play because horror games are not usually my. Well, it's my cup of tea sometimes and sometimes not. Like Layers of Fear and that kind of stuff. I'd rather not play. But things like Phasmophobia is a bit more interactive, or Fatal Frame, which is interesting as well. God, it feels interesting, and even though they never do well as Amnesia, I enjoy playing them, and that's what I do. Even though it doesn't do so well, that's what I enjoy, and that's what I play. So yeah, let me see. Ah, okay. So yeah, the hustle culture is prevalent now. It's started somewhere in the 2010s because of the YouTube becoming more corporate. Everything became more corporate lately. It sucks, but even mainstream films. I don't like when they talk. I wish I could just skip these things, but I cannot. I don't believe I have. Great for you. Having you small. Anyway, but continuing because I don't know. I feel distracted when such thing comes. But anyway, even in mainstream films, like you have Marvel, which I kind of find always boring. They always try to push out billions of superhero films. This is boring. And then you have your, this DC is a bit different. They still do the same thing, but once in a while they they do make some really good films like the Joker or the Batman. And usually such films, you can see this trend that the big corporation want to stop down these films because they are not family friendly. But yet those are the true gems sometimes, the things that are not family friendly. And yeah, this is interesting. Hello, that's from Fleeing Brandenburg. Interesting. And that's what YouTube does too with the videos. They try to make everything family friendly, and it's this algorithm that does that. And some people succumb to it. Think about the golden era of YouTube. Usually, Filthy Frank is considered the content creator of the golden era because of what he did, and he fell to this culture as well that that he stopped doing his videos, and okay, in a way, almost he kind of fell to it because he tried to become more family friendly with his music, I don't like such music, so but I just noticed that he tried to, you know, uh, how do you say it? Not delete his past, but get away from his image that he created in the past because it was hurting his future as an artist. So he kind of fell for it, because his past, he doesn't want to get cancelled as an artist. So he tried to dissociate himself from it very badly. Another creator that fell for it first, but then changed and recovered to, um, uploading what he wants again is PewDiePie. PewDiePie back in 2016 or something like that fell also kind of for this kind of culture to just upload just for the sake of getting numbers instead of what he wants. And he saw that and he changed. He started to upload again things that he wants at times that he wanted. So that is an example of somebody that fell for it, but then recovered. And then you also always have creators like Moist Critical that never care about the whole culture, and they just upload what they want, and they cannot even monetize the the videos, but they don't care because they have the audience to do so, because they can, for example, live off from merch. At the end, I agree with Matt that most content creators fell for this culture. Like, example, many people like Mr. Beast, but in the end, Mr. Beast does the same thing with his thumbnails, with his reaction videos as well. It's just so weird. It's like this mashup of constantly reactions. They make their videos and they just cut out all the parts that they don't react and just leave in all the parts that they react. It's like supercut to every reaction, usually overreaction that they make. And apparently people like it. The YouTube algorithm like it because it's bite-sized. I don't know. It's just content for attention deficit people, but that's what I say. But it does well, and even people like that do such things to appease the algorithm and the culture. I don't know if they want it or not. That is a different story. But still, they do it. And it's usually also overreacting. But I do think most, like what Matt was usually just tackling the culture itself, the people that do that, but I think what perpetuates it, what birthed it in the first place, is the algorithm, and I felt like that was a bit left out in his video. He did mention it, but I just want to stress it that it's not usually, there are a lot of people. I mean, it's kind of like a trendy thing to do, to shit on YouTube algorithm. Isn't that interesting? The YouTube algorithm is pushing this culture, yet people shit on this algorithm, and it becomes part of this culture as well because it's so popular. It's interesting. Anyway, not another flashback, but whatever. Yeah, it's very old. Okay, now it's the flashback with the TikTok. Clockety clock. No, there's no flashback for it. Okay, whatever. Oh yeah, there it is. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that the it's not like people a lot of people really want this culture. It's not wanted, but it's forced upon us by the algorithm. I think that is a key thing, that it's not really the people. That is what I wanted to make clear in this video. It's not really the people. It's not really the people. It's just the algorithm that forces people to behave this way. You know, if you watch, hello there, if you watch, you know, a lot of creators, you see that most people don't really want this, but they're still forced to do this because it's still something that the algorithm only promotes. You know, only the biggest YouTubers cannot care about this because they can get the revenue from somewhere else, the merch, the merch. But smaller video creators, it's a different story. You know, because they have to be seen, they have to be approved by the algorithm. You know that PewDiePie said this as well, that most of his revenue comes from his merch. He stopped getting revenue from his content when he started to make content that he wanted, because it's not what the algorithm wants. It's the algorithm wants the content in a certain way that many people are forced to make to basically get revenue. But he has a big enough audience to not care and do merch. And I think many people aspire to kind of, become so big so they can also stop caring about the algorithm, so they can make whatever they want. So I think it's not really the people in the culture itself perpetuating this culture, it's the algorithm that does that. So that is my take of what Matthew was saying, is that he was just focusing on mainly on the people, but I really want to focus on the algorithm, because you can clearly see that it's not really the people that really want to always push out content like how the algorithm wants, but they are forced to because they don't have the audience to not care. And in a way, if in a way it's also kind of like, if you take for example clickbait, yeah, it's also a bit psychological, but it's mainly because people want clicks on their videos and that makes you revenue. So you're forced to make clickbait so people click on it. So it's also part psychologically, but it's still mainly the algorithm, because as a smaller YouTuber, your videos will never be trending. Your videos will never be there on YouTube in the front page. You need to get approved by the algorithm. So if you want to make money out of it, you may have to make stuff that the algorithm wants you to make. And that's usually those clickbaity, very overreacting, very hyper-cut kind of videos about trending topics, about family-friendly stuff, because if it's not family-friendly, it's demonetized. And many content creators just struggle with that. And nobody really likes it. But yet, they're forced by the algorithm to do it like that, because then they don't get money. So it's really the algorithm. And that's my point, And the smaller ones, like you shouldn't, if you're small, you should never make this or try to make this your job, because you should really take also Matt's advice to heart. This should be a hobby you only do in your free time, when you want, whenever you want, if you can. Because it shouldn't be a chore, it shouldn't affect your real life, it shouldn't affect your finances. So if you don't try to make this a job, don't do like PewDiePie, because PewDiePie did the same thing. He even admits himself that he quit his job. He quit university to pursue YouTube. and he just got so lucky. Yeah, it's basically just luck as well. Luck that the algorithm picks you up. Luck that people click on your video about some trending stuff rather than somebody else's video. It's all just luck, and you shouldn't base your life decisions. You shouldn't quit your job, your university, for something that is only based on luck. On algorithm approving you. PewDiePie did that. He quit his university. He quit his job for YouTube, and he got very lucky. But from one success that you hear about, there are many stories about people that failed to do so. So, luckily, I always had this idea already that I should never make this YouTube. I should never focus on YouTube. As you can notice, my template is just, I never really do cuts. I never do video editing. I never try to make an intro or an outro because, first of all, I just don't feel like it's me. I just like to make a video, talk, and then put it on YouTube. It's not me. And second of all, I just don't want to put the time in to make and a very nice finished product with very nice special effects or whatnot, with intro, outro, whatever. It's just not me because I just don't feel like doing it. And I don't feel like spending more time than just playing the game. I just want to play the game. Yeah. I don't want to edit. I just want to play the game and put it on YouTube. And that's just me. But many other people, of course, if you want to edit a bit, make an outro, whatever, more power to you. But I will never change this. Not for views, not for famous for clicks, never. And even just simply asking for a like and subscribe, it's just not my purpose of this YouTube channel. I will never play something I don't want to play. Yeah. I will never do that. And if I want to play something, I do it because I want it, and not because some YouTube comment says I should play. Okay, after all this shitting on YouTube algorithm, and all in all, let's wrap it up. Hustle culture bad. Matt is completely right. I just like to add that it's the algorithm that perpetuates this much more than the people, because the people don't like it, but they're forced by the algorithm to do it so. But in the end, Matt is completely right, and I also saw this problem, and I saw many content creators falling for this, and I was like, this is bad, and everybody else thinks it's bad. It's just not. It's just people do see it. It's just we can't do much about it. Complaining to YouTube is useless. But I want to add, because after all this rambling, I do want to add something really amazing, great about the YouTube algorithm, which is interesting. Let's see if I haven't forgot it. Okay, I've covered most points. What YouTube algorithm does great, and what I really love about it, he's gone. Oh, he's not gone. He comes from another place. Come here. Anyway, I get distracted. It's interesting. Okay, so usually, like I've noticed, when people ask, what app do you use to listen music to, or where do you find new artists? People say, apps like Spotify, Deezer, that kind of apps, just music apps with also their own algorithms. Or what is your Spotify list? What are your, what are your artists that you listen to on Spotify? I just never saw the point of using stuff like Spotify with Deezer, because what YouTube algorithm does great is their music recommendations. Their music recommendations are also always bloody spot on. Amazing. Like, I don't need anything else than YouTube music or music on YouTube, because YouTube always knows what music I want to listen, and also if you usually when in those recommendations, when I click and I was like, oh yeah, this is epic, the comment section is also full of people saying, thank you YouTube algorithm for recommending this because this is amazing. It's full of them. So that is one thing that the YouTube algorithm really does well, is the music recommendations for what you're listening to, what you enjoy. I mean, I have discovered so many great artists through YouTube recommendations. So in a way, that is a positive thing about the algorithm. And I always want to stress that because, everybody's like, algorithm bad. Yes, for content creators it's bad, but for music, at least in my opinion, it's amazing. It's much better than Spotify, much better than Deezer. It's just mind-blowingly good because it always knows what I want to watch. It always puts out good, amazing recommendations. So yeah, this was it. A bit of a rambling, but I liked Matt's video. I agreed with him, and I wanted to put my take on. And I'm not, shy of doing this. And my YouTube channel has seen videos like this before, so I do this once a while when about something about I care, like that Redan video, or even again about the Amnesia Community. I did it way back. So, I sometimes do this, and I also kind of like to talk about stuff sometimes as well. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next episode. Not episode, yeah, next episode. Cheers.